I used to spend 2 hours per feature just writing a test scaffold. By using a 3-agent pipeline, I reduced the time it takes to generate that same starting skeleton to just 11 minutes. The goal isn't to have the AI write a finished test. Instead, we are creating a strict division of labor. The machine handles the mechanical repetition, and the human handles the engineering judgment. This process offloads the time-consuming tasks of locating DOM elements and structuring describe blocks. When those mechanical steps are automated, you can save your mental energy for identifying edge cases. We will configure 3 specific agents with strict rules designed to prevent the AI from making assumptions that lead to brittle or flaky tests. Mastering this workflow allows you to spend your time reviewing logic and validating requirements, rather than manually navigating the DOM inspector. Before you can run the agents, you need a utility script in your codebase. This script must be able to capture Playwright accessibility snapshots of your application's authenticated states. The output must be a clean, readable accessibility tree. Without this data, the agents won't have the context they need to map the component correctly. This graph tracks the token cost of 3 sequential API calls against the engineering hours saved. As you scale, you need to ensure the time saved justifies the API spend. Mapping these costs and setting up the snapshot utility ensures the automation produces a measurable return on investment before you commit to the architecture. The first agent is the ticket reader. It parses the Jira ticket, looking at the description, the acceptance criteria, and any linked designs. We give it one rule. It must produce a structured summary of the feature, but it cannot guess. If information is missing from the ticket, the agent is forbidden from filling in the blanks. Every piece of data required for the test that isn't in the ticket must be explicitly labeled as not specified. This labeling stops the AI from embedding silent assumptions into the scaffold. It forces you to address underspecified requirements before you ever write code. In practice, this makes Agent 1 a quality gate. It reveals flaws in the product specifications during the authoring phase, rather than months later during a regression. The second agent is the component analyst. It compares the feature summary from the first agent against the accessibility snapshot of the page. Its task is to map out the interacted elements and recommend the best locators for testing. We enforce a strict selector hierarchy. The agent must use area roles like getByRole and reject CSS selectors. We ban CSS selectors because they are tied to implementation details. When UI libraries are refactored, role-based locators survive while CSS tests break. This process also serves as an audit. If the agent can't find an element by its area role, it means the element isn't accessible to keyboard or screen reader users. This effectively turns your test authoring pipeline into a tool for identifying accessibility gaps in real time. The third agent is the scaffold writer. It takes the component map and generates the actual test file. It writes the boilerplate, the describe block, the setup steps, and the sequence of user actions. To keep the output trustworthy, this agent is never allowed to write the final assertion values. Instead, it writes placeholders. These are comments that tell the engineer exactly which field from the ticket needs to be verified manually. Forcing the AI to stop at placeholders ensures the test reflects actual requirements, rather than the agent's best guess of what a correct value looks like. Once the 11-minute automated pipeline finishes, the human engineer takes over to complete the test. You then spend 8 to 20 minutes reviewing the scaffold, refining specific selectors, and filling in those assertion placeholders with the correct expected values. Expect to adjust about 30% of the generated code. This isn't a failure of the AI, it's the point where human domain knowledge is required. You can even use this to plan your sprint. Tickets that were flagged with not specified gaps by the first agent will predictably take more time during this review phase. This turns test authoring into a predictable, trackable task rather than a manual time sink. The result of this pipeline is a stable, refactor-resistant test created much faster than the traditional manual method. By delegating the mechanical boilerplate to the agents, you arrive at the review step with sharp focus, avoiding the fatigue of manual DOM inspection. To implement this, start by drafting the rules for Agent 1 this week. Run it against 3 of your current tickets to see where your requirements are underspecified. This system removes the busy work from your workflow and allows you to focus on the technical judgment work that machines cannot replicate.